everyone. Welcome to CNBC TV 18. Our conversations continue here in Davos. And joining me now is Mohit Joshi, who's just taken over as the CEO at Tech Mahindra. Mohit, thanks very much. Your first interview as CEO of Tech Mahindra. So it's great to have you join us here in Davos on CNBC TV 18. Let's start by talking about the lay of the land. And you've spent the last 6 months at Tech Mahindra, less than a month as CEO since CP left. You know, as you go about reshaping things, as you go about putting together a strategy for accelerating growth and getting the company back on track, you need to be able to identify what needs to be fixed. Have you got a handle on that?
Well, I think, look, the first part before you start fixing things is to understand the landscape, right? So I think the first 6 months, I really spent very extensively, traveling across the world, getting a sense of our clients, getting a sense of our partners, getting a sense of our team and the talent that we have, right? And what really emerged to me in those 6 months was a very good picture of the organization and firstly the talent, right? We've got 150,000 people across the world, and just the depth of the engineering talent in the company, the depth of the creative and the technical talent, their deep connection to TechM was really inspiring to see. As you know, TechM really is a company that has multiple strands to the DNA. There is the old Mahindra BT strand of the DNA, which is very focused on telecom. There is the Satyam strand of the DNA, right, which is very focused on enterprise, especially on package implementation and consulting. And then there is the strand of the DNA that comes from all the acquired companies. So this has given us a very rich talent, right? So that's the first thing that struck me. The second thing that has struck me is the quality of the clients that we have, right? Really a world-class roster of clients. Now to your question on, transforming the company. Look, I think, this is a great company. This is a great company and CP had been a great CEO. But obviously in the 10 plus years that he'd been the CEO, the organization had been built around him, right? And so there was the opportunity to reshape the organization, to streamline it, and that's what we've been focused on. Part of it has been, getting the sales organization under 6 strategic business units. It's been getting the IT delivery and the engineering business under a chief operating officer. Our erstwhile CHRO has moved to a market-facing role, so getting a new CHRO. We didn't really have the role of a CMO earlier, so getting a new CMO. So it's exciting, right? It's exciting, the work of, of reshaping what is already a very good company.
What's the near-term targets that you've set for yourself?
Sure. I think, look, like you mentioned earlier, it has only been a month into the job, so it's very early for me to prognosticate on when we will be beating our peer set. But what we've already told the markets, right, is that we have done the reorg. We've identified the senior leadership of the company. We've clearly identified that we will be working on a set of 3 plans, right? So we're working on a plan for growth or a plan for revenue. Like I said, we have a market-leading position in telecom, a market-leading position in manufacturing, $1 billion plus business in financial services, a very healthy healthcare and life sciences business. Half our business comes from the Americas, half of it is from outside. So the plan for revenue will really focus on what are the sectoral bets that we take, what are the bets that we take from a markets perspective, what are the alliances and ecosystem partnerships that we build, what are the service lines that we innovate. I haven't mentioned the word AI, so how do we get
I was going to get to AI in a bit.
How do I get AI to drive our growth, working closely with the hyperscalers? There is a plan for margins, right? How do we make sure that our margins catch up with our peers? How do we drive greater productivity? How do I invest more back in the business? And then it's very important for me that we build a plan for the organization, right? We're also bringing in a new chief learning officer to really reinvest a lot more in training. We already have Mahindra University, which is one of the leading universities in the country, partnerships with Cornell, partnerships with the Grand Écoles. How do we use that to turbocharge our growth? Like I mentioned, we have a new chief marketing officer coming in. How do we build this wonderful brand into something more? There's a plan for talent within the company. So a plan for growth, a plan for margins, and a plan for the organization.
What will the levers be to drive margin expansion?
So look, as far as margin expansion is concerned, those levers are quite well known, right? I think the levers have to do with the shape of the pyramid. Now again, with the pyramid, what I can tell you is that Tech Mahindra today has the most experienced team in the industry, right? Which is why if you look at the transformational programs that we are driving, those are the most stable programs and that have delivered, because on average, we have a team with 9 to 10 years of experience as opposed to 2 to 3 years for our peers. So I don't want to lose that advantage fully. but we will have to look at how we reshape our pyramid over time and with growth. There are the service lines, for instance. We have a wonderful partnership with SAP, wonderful partnership with Oracle, a huge amount of work that we do with AWS and Microsoft and Google. These are higher margin businesses. How do we grow those? We have a wonderful digital engineering business, right, both in India, but we also have 1,000 people in Riga, in Estonia. How do we grow that business? Because that is obviously a higher margin business for us. We'll be looking to drive a lot more productivity for our fixed price engagements. We have some problem projects where contractually we're looking to see how we can reshape those. So looking at a lot of levers, but again, like you said, that this will take time, and we want to make sure that we're able to grow in a healthy fashion and be able to equally reinvest in the business, because at the end of the day, our business, the engineering business, the IT services business, will be a growth business for many years to come.
This balance between reinvesting in the business as well as eking out cost savings, productivity gains, what will that balance mean, and what could we expect in terms of savings? You talked about some of the problem projects. What do you mean by that exactly? Where else do you foresee problems? Which are the problem areas where you potentially could see yourself exit?
Yeah. So look,
or reshape?
As far as the margin piece is concerned, we have to draw that balance, right? We have to draw that balance about, what do we reinvest in the business? What are the commitments that our teams are making, to us of future growth, as opposed to what is it that we have to deliver for the shareholders, not just near term, but in the long term as well. And I do think it makes sense to be to be patient in this, and we will be patient because we want to create a long-term solid organic business. As far as the problem projects are concerned, look, there are some projects where, for instance, it could be that contractually that we have made certain commitments that we need to revisit. Maybe there are some milestones and we have to exert an extra effort to hit those milestones. And in some of these cases, these could be programs or projects that we've gotten into that we now want to exit.
What the trajectory looks like as far as telecom in specific is concerned, but also in areas where you're very familiar with, BFSI, healthcare, etc.
Yes.
The management commentary from your peers suggests that there are green shoots emerging, at least as far as BFSI is concerned. What's the sense that you get, and what does the deal environment for you look like?
Sure. So look, I think telecom has obviously been just the way the heritage of the company, right? With Mahindra British Telecom, we are deeper into the networks than any of our peers. That's a business we understand better than anybody else. We also have a very large and robust software business around telecom, for instance, right? We've got a software Mobilytics that helps clients increase their ARPU. We've got solutions around BSS. We've got solutions around OSS. So the telecom business obviously has been stressed for for the entire industry for the past year, but I do feel that it is a business that will come back over time. The financial services business, again, like I said, is a $1 billion business for us. We have, I believe, some unique assets over here. We have brought in a very strong team, right, in the Asia Pacific region, a new hire in Singapore, a new hire in the US, and a new hire in the UK. To build that business. So I'm very optimistic that we will be able to grow this business because it is something that I fundamentally understand and something that I feel that I can go to any boardroom in the world and present a perspective on how the sector should be transformed and how we can help them drive the transformation.
Yes, the past experience from Infosys carries forward
but
here.
It's also, I started my career as a banker, right?
Yeah,
so it is more than my previous employer.
Absolutely, but let's now talk about AI and the bets that you're likely to make as far as AI is concerned, and what do you really make of the various sort of plans that are emerging, every company taking a stab at what they intend to do internally as well as externally. What's your own take on this?
So my own sense is that AI truly is a transformational technology, right? There's obviously the element of hype. Everybody who was mobile first became digital first, became metaverse first, and now is AI first. So there is certainly an element of marketing pizzazz to it, but there is something very real, right? It is transforming industries on a more industrial scale. We built a Gen AI studio where you can use different models, right? Open source models, open AI models, and whether it's for voice or for email or for video or for data, apply these various models and see what the output is. We've also been looking at the sectoral transformation overall, so a whole set of 70+ use cases for the telecom industry. working with our parent use cases for the auto industry, both in terms of after-sales service, but also with the factory floor. So looking at an industrial scale transformation of enterprises using AI.
Well, you know, Mohit, you talked about the need for patience. How much patience will shareholders need to have till you work yourself through these problem areas and get the turnaround plan to start delivering results?
You know, one of my favorite quotes in my life is from an erstwhile CEO of Goldman Sachs, right? And he said, we must always be long-term greedy, right? Which is, you know, how can we be long-term greedy? And look, at the end of the day, we are working on a plan. We have a great deal of confidence we can deliver. We have a great platform in TechM. We've got a great heritage in the Mahindra group. We have phenomenal talent, a great client base. So there is no reason why this platform should not be delivering, should not be delivering even more than we are today.